And good evening, I'm Jeff Koinange, and this is Jeff Koinange Live. And yes, it is live because despite an arrest warrant on yours truly, we're here. The show goes on, and it will, especially if we have a guest like the one we have tonight. He doesn't come to Kenya or the show very often, and when he does come, he calls it like he sees it. No holds barred. First, he gave us something called peeling back the mask. That was huge. He followed that up with kidneys for the king. And then a saying that a lot of people use just about every single day of their lives. Something like, come, baby, come. Who could ever forget that? Tonight, from his vantage point in Canada, we want to ask him a lot of questions about what's happening back home in Kenya. State of the nation, state of security, corruption, you name it, we're going to talk about it for the next 60 minutes. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a Twitter handle or a Facebook page. Everything with his name on it is someone cashing in. But you can use this one at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag is JKL. My guest, who else? The man with the same name twice. Or rhymes with Miguna Miguna. Miguna Miguna. Good to see you, my brother.
Thank you.
You're looking great, by the way. You're looking wonderful.
Thank you.
Canada must be good for you.
I suppose.
You must miss home.
Greatly.
You do, huh?
I do.
Speaking of home, and I know you've been watching from your vantage point, and state of corruption, list of shame, the whole shebang, and now commissioners are falling off the way like flies. The latest chairman of the EACC, Matemu, Mumo Matemu, is gone. G-O-N-E. He is gone. His deputy, Miss Kano, gone before that. They're resigning. I mean, they're falling off like flies. Your thoughts, Miguna, because a lot of people are thinking, with the commissioners gone, list of shame, 60 days due, is it all null and void? Is it over?
No, I actually don't think it is over. And unfortunately, today I had the AG make a statement. I think he was asked by the media as to what happens to the tribunal that was formed to investigate allegations against the commissioners. And he said now that the subject of the investigations or the tribunal are no longer in office, the tribunal would have no issue to discuss or to inquire into. And I think he's wrong.
You disagree with that?
I disagree with him completely. With the greatest and with tremendous respect. I respect the AG because I believe he's one of the best legal minds in this country. But on this one, either he deliberately misrepresented the position, or unfortunately he may also just be outrightly wrong.
But tell me something, Miguna. Why do you think these two or the commissioners have resigned? Do you think there is something on them to have made them resign?
You see, there are allegations. And if the allegations are credible, and I would believe they are, that is why the inquiry was constituted, then you would expect the tribunal to constitute itself, come into session, gather evidence, and make findings. Because the allegations pertain to things they did or did not do during their tenure.
Right.
The fact that you resigned, let's give a very easy example. Let's assume that you're working for KTN, which you do, and you commit a crime, or you committed a crime yesterday, and KTN decided to suspend you and constitute a team to investigate your activities. If you resign today, the allegations of yesterday do not just disappear because you have resigned. These allegations should be inquired into and findings made on them, whether you did something or not. And if in fact it is found that they did something, and if what they did constitutes criminal offense, they should be charged and they should be prosecuted.
Absolutely.
So this idea that once you resign, the crimes, the allegations disappear is completely false.
Yeah.
And it is groundless in law and it is groundless in fact, because facts don't disappear just because you have resigned.
And facts don't lie.
No, and because you have resigned, it is just the office you have left. But the allegations cannot disappear, nor can your record disappear.
Yeah.
So say, for example, they took kickbacks, allegedly. Well, then they still took kickbacks.
Yeah.
And whatever they took, they still have. And whoever they took it from still exists. So these people are not dead. The allegations cannot die. So the age is wrong.
Ah,
Yeah.
good point, good point. So what happens to all these cases, Miguna? 175 plus cases of the list of shame, everyone from parastatal heads to CSs to governors. What happens to those cases?
Well, here I agree with the AG. The commission is not the commissioners. It's a body corporate. It exists independent of one or two individuals. So 3 people have resigned. The institution is still there. When we had elections last year, there was a period when the ministers that served under Kibaki had already left their offices and were running for office. Some of them became governors, some of them became senators, some members of parliament, some of them were also defeated. But during that time, the government was still running.
Right.
We didn't have ministers, but the ministries were there, officers were there of the ministries. An institution does not stop running because a few individuals are away, say on holiday, or have been indicted, or have been suspended.
Yeah.
So those names, those people should still be investigated. If there are charges preferred, they should still be preferred. And if there are any kind of action that should be taken against them, that should still be taken. And I have to say this. I believe Kenyans are tired of this talk every day of people being on lists and then nothing happens. I think the president should, this time, show that he means what he says and he says what he means. If he does that, I can guarantee you that there are a lot of Kenyans that would vote for him that would never have thought of voting for him. Because corruption is one of the biggest problems in this country, only followed by tribalism and insecurity.
When you look at corruption from where you are in Canada and you look at the various issues happening in this country, what do people there say? What is the feeling over there? Do they think like we're the most corrupt people on the planet? Do they think, you know, Kenya is a place where you just go steal what you can, when you can, how you can?
Unfortunately, Kenya has a very bad reputation. In fact, most people believe, at least outside Kenya, that there's no rule of law, that the culture of impunity is so pervasive that nothing moves without corruption. And unfortunately, our institutions seem to have made that to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, because it is everywhere. It is in all the institutions where you don't expect it to be.
Yeah.
The police that are supposed to investigate and apprehend criminals, it's endemic there. You go to the judiciary where you expect complete integrity, and it is there. You go to professions where integrity is the cardinal principle of being a member, such as law, accounting, and all manner of professions in this country, and it is there. Yeah. So I can understand when people become cynical. Unfortunately, cynicism is a bad thing. So I refuse to be a cynic. So I want to see always the positive side, that as much as there is corruption in the country, there are few honest people in this country that are committed to the general good. It is only those people that would be able to turn a page if given a chance.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yes.
The president is going to have a really hard time replacing Matemo and Kano and the rest of the commissioners. If someone was to ask you, Miguna, would you be interested in that job as commissioner of the EAC? Would you take, if you were offered that job?
That's a difficult question, but I will say this. Yes, I would take the job.
Would you?
Of course I would.
No one in their right mind would take that job, Miguna.
No, I would. And I would turn it around in 6 months and people will see the difference.
Come on.
There is a difference between people who just talk, rhetoricians, and people with no stamina, or people with no spine, and a person with spine. A lot of these people were not appointed in those positions to do anything. Matemu, if you recall, when he was appointed, I opposed his appointment because I believed he had no integrity. I believe that, and I said so in my column in the Star, and I said so publicly. So I am not surprised that he has resigned. He should never have taken the position.
In the first place?
Yeah, because remember he was challenged and the matter went to court, and the court actually found against him.
Correct.
But then he appealed, and for some strange reason, he found himself back. That is what happens in Kenya. Anywhere else in the world, with the kind of questions that had been brought about him, you would never have continued to pursue that position.
But you would take that job, Miguna?
Any day.
They would dig into your past like you'd never believe.
It doesn't matter. They can dig any day, and they've been digging. What have they come up with? Remember, I confronted somebody in this country that nobody thought I would confront. And he also dug. What did he come up with? Empty. You can dig until cows come home and you will get empty.
But you say, Miguna, you say in 6 months you would have a rest, you clean up the house?
These cases are done. In fact, I don't know what Tobiko is doing.
Yeah.
Between Tobiko and EACC. Because most of these cases, ask anyone. Ask a market, a lady selling vegetables in the market.
Yes.
Ask the lady, what do you think about golden bag? And I'm not saying the lady is capable of investigating. And I'm not saying the lady is capable of prosecuting or of discharging justice. But a lot of these people, the common person, they're very wise and they know what goes around. If you ask them, what do you think about golden bag? They would be able to tell you. They would even be able to mention at least 5 people that were involved.
Yes.
And if you restricted yourself to this lady's 5 people, you'll get 3 culprits in the dock tomorrow. And these 3 will all be convicted.
Same thing with Anglo, same thing with...
The same thing. Look, this is the only country in the world where you have people producing good evidence, some from the Parliamentary Accounts Committee, some from all manner of committees, some by individuals. Let's say, for example, the governor.
Of
the
Nairobi.
Evidence against him from Mumias is overwhelming. Is overwhelming.
Yeah.
There is no country in the world that I know that is governed by the rule of law where he would still be governor. There is none.
Except Kenya.
Except here. In fact, I don't know how he goes to sleep.
Because there's a lot of pissed off people in Mumias, in Kakamega County.
They should be more than pissed off. I should see them doing more than just getting pissed off.
And yet?
And I'm very disappointed by the Kenyan media because the evidence stares you in the face and you do nothing. It's everywhere. And nothing is done. No investigative journalism that would go to the root of the problem and give it to the readers or to the people who are watching
But
TV.
maybe, Miguna, maybe, look, we have John Allen Namo, we have Moha, we have Dennis Onsarigo, we have people who...
There are 3. You have mentioned 3. Mention another one.
But, you know, we lay the evidence out there.
Yes.
And then there's no follow-through.
The follow-through should be in the media. I'll give you an example. In Canada, if something like that comes up, the same media house will never leave that problem and they see blood. You shouldn't leave it. Harp on it every single day until you see action. Every time the president turns left, he's asked about it. He turns right, he's asked about it. He calls you State House, you ask him about it. He calls you for Arambe, you ask him about it. Every single day when he takes a trip at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, you ask him when he's leaving, you ask him when he returns. Until he says, this thing, my goodness, what's going on with this? I need to see this file. then there will be action. If there is no action coming from the DPP's office, then people should ask, why are they paying this guy so much money?
Which they are.
Yeah.
Which they are.
Yeah.
And
where are the files? Every time you hear files have gone to DPP, they never come out. Every file that has gone inside, a big file, we have never seen the end result. We always hear an expose. Tomorrow there will be a big arrest. There is a big announcement. Where are they?
Right.
Instead, they are running after some small chicken in Kisumu County. They have arrested the majority leader because Raila wants them out for his sister. So he's trying to destroy the governor's roots and branches so that he can easily be removed. So they get into the game and play the shenanigan. But really the big cases, where are they? Raila himself was mentioned yesterday by Herbert Ojwang in this so-called improvement of
Moi
Referral Hospital. How come the media, the DPP or the police, they're doing nothing?
Because we're all sitting. Miguna, we're all afraid. You know, we're all afraid.
Afraid of what? Afraid of what? I'm here talking. How come I'm not afraid?
Because you've got big
kahunas.
Yes.
My friend.
Yeah. Look, I interviewed Tony Gashoko on this bench.
Yes.
He talks forever. He mentions names.
Yes.
I'm getting sued. I'm a warrant of arrest.
That is good. That is good. In fact, getting sued is a good thing. Because if, suppose a crooked man sues you, then you go and bring out the evidence. Now it is a public thing.
So you expose it.
You expose it. In fact, thank the guy. Thank him very much. Gather the evidence. He will start running. He will run like a squirrel.
Seriously?
Just wait.
If you were EACC chairman, would you arrest this guy?
Of course I would arrest him. Why not? If there is evidence against him.
Come on, Miguna.
And I saw Tony, the way he talked with passion.
Yes.
I believe there may have been something there. If it is true that somebody has done something and there is evidence and there are witnesses to this or documentary evidence to this and we can prove it, of course the guy should be arrested.
Why would a magistrate issue a warrant of arrest against us, Miguna? Why? A magistrate?
I actually saw that and I wondered, were you ever served with a court order?
Never.
So how can you be in contempt of something that you don't know?
Exactly. How?
Because the first thing the magistrate should have asked, were these people served with a court order? If the answer is yes, show me an affidavit of service. Somebody would have to step forward and say, I served Jeff Koinange on such a day at such a place. And if Jeff still refuses to abide by the court order, then he can be in contempt. And then you don't cite somebody for contempt without serving him with a contempt notice personally. So like they can't serve the standard. They would have to serve you personally.
Right.
Then there has to be a hearing where you are allowed to cross-examine the person who says you're in contempt before there is a ruling. Here is a case where they did it ex parte.
Correct. It's a banana republic, Miguna.
This is Kenya, my friend.
T-I-K. People say T-I-A, this is Africa. T-I-K.
But confront it.
You know I will, Miguna.
Yes.
You know I will. Yes. And like you said, expose this so-called...
Bring out the evidence. Let them start running. Counter-sue. Because now he's harassed you.
Yes.
He's embarrassed you.
Yes.
Seek good money. These people are rich.
They're very rich.
Let them pay you.
You know?
Yeah, the time that you're going to waste, the emotional trauma.
Yes.
Get your money.
Are you busy for the next few months? Are you busy? Oh, okay.
I can take the case. Bring it on.
Come, baby, come. That's what you're going to tell him, right?
Let's go into action.
Yes.
Yes.
Miguna, I want to talk about other things that are plaguing Kenya, other than corruption, and we'll come back to corruption. State of security. I'm sure you saw the horrific pictures coming out of Garissa, Mandera, Mpeketoni. I'm sure you've seen that the last year or so. It's been horrific. Can we turn this tide around, Miguna? Can we do it? Miguna says to that guy who wants me arrested, come baby come. Oh my. Keep tweeting at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag is JK, or just use Miguna ×2. That's easy. Let's keep talking. Because as I always keep saying, the moment we stop talking is the moment we start fighting. Keep tweeting. Jeff Koinange Live takes a break. We'll be back in a moment.